Yes. Good afternoon, sir. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah. The other day, you told me you wanted to see me at the office, but I asked you to come down within a week so we can discuss what you had in mind after mass. So good to see you.
Thanks for seeing me.
Yeah. Please remind me your name.
JC.
Oh, JC. Oh, JC. Nice to meet you. So, before we start, do you mind? Would you like to pray?
Yes, please.
Okay. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father, we thank you for the grace of this day. We ask you to bless this encounter. Give us the gift of wisdom to share whatever that you have given to us, and may it be to the glory of your name through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yeah, so Jesse, what do we have here today? What brings you to the office today?
So, I've just been dealing with a few things with my family. Our father is very, very ill, and I think out of all the siblings, I'm the one that's taken the most burden out of everybody. I am the youngest of 4 children, and our siblings, we're just creating a division amongst ourselves because they're more focused on other things about like the will and things like that. Some of them haven't been as involved with all the arrangements since he got sick, and just I'm trying to be the voice of reason. However, I'm being pushed aside, and I love my siblings. That's not out of the question. However, it's getting to the point where legal matters are starting to take place, and we're trying to, by we I mean me, trying to separate, what's the legal thing versus the Christian, the Catholic thing to do. It's creating a lot of tension. My oldest brother has already threatened to sue and things like that because he thinks that he's entitled to certain things, even though I've taken, and to me, he's my father. Any kind of medical expenses and all that, I've been taking that on. I've been there day in, day out, taking days out, and they feel that they're entitled to whatever they feel entitled. And to me, material is material. And what's hurting more is just our spiritual warfare, the fact that they're taking this to a different level.
This is a very interesting but very sensitive situation, and I really feel for you, and I sympathize with the situation with your father, who is ill at this moment. And in everything, one thing I always believe is once there is hope, there is a way. How many are you in the family? I didn't hear you mention
We're
that.
four brothers.
Four brothers. And have you been able to reach out to each and every one of them to let them know about these concerns?
Yes. I've reached out. I've been basically the power of attorney. So all decisions are made because my mother's also ill. But I'm the one that's been taking care of all the medical expenses and all the decisions that need to be made. My mother, I'm trying to keep my mother out of this because I don't want to burden her without any of that. I've reached out to my siblings, and it's not like they live across the country; they live nearby. However, none of them want to take responsibility because they have other responsibilities. However, they want to reap the benefits of my father's, his will and all that. He's not even dead yet, and they're already petitioning different things. So I think it's just creating a division amongst the siblings, which is something that's never happened before. So it's something that's hitting me very personal because I feel like their personal views and opinions are being projected towards me as if I'm the favorite child or I'm the youngest child, or I'm going to get all the benefits, reap all the benefits of his death, I guess.
And you have other family members that, your father's siblings that I believe that are very close to the family that you can reach out. Do you?
Well, right now he just has one sister, but she's neutral. She's been assisting me when she can, but she's out of the state.
So since this whole wouldn't use the word, I don't know the right word to use, not confusion, but misunderstanding, maybe.
Tension.
Yeah, tension, good. So since it started, I don't know the measures you've used, apart from the threats that you've gotten about suing, and then your desire to have, to get an attention, at least for them to hear your views. I don't know other measures that you've used to see if you can address, because what you want is for them to give you attention, and then for you to be able to air your views, and then have issues addressed so that everybody will be on the same page. But at this moment, it does seem like one person is dragging it this way, another person is dragging it this way, and that is why it's creating tension. So I just wanted to ask you, within your heart, what do you think is the best way to approach this scenario?
Well,
From you, I mean,
yeah.
what do you think? Because there's always something in your mind that you want to do, but you don't know the consequences of what. So,
I think it's just more, being in a Latino household, we're very family oriented, but because I'm the youngest, I've always been told that I'm the privileged one, like mom and dad have always seen me as a favored one and things like that, so they discredit my voice. However, in a situation such as this, to me it's not my ego, to me it's not my personal gain. I love all my parents, and I'm sure I'm not saying or stating or insinuating that they don't love them just the same. However, I'm not seeing me taking care of them as a burden, I'm seeing it as a responsibility. What bothers me is the fact that they are not taking any responsibility. They're visiting just to get a meeting with all four of us together to just talk about situations that can happen, like funeral arrangements, funeral payments, and things like that. I'm not saying that I want them to give me all the money and then for me to sit back. I'm just saying that these are things that we all need to come together as siblings and understand that this stress level cannot stress my mother out as my father's going through this delicate situation. And we're not seeing eye to eye. They think that, oh, he'll heal, or he's going to be okay, or the other side of the spectrum where they already declared him dead, and they're just looking at ahead in the future saying, oh, well, what am I getting from this? I want the house, I want the car, I want this and this and that. And I don't think that they're putting into perspective the reality as to how much I've been putting into it, which, like I said, is not that I mind. However, I'm taking on all the responsibility, and it's not whether it's fair or not, it's just that I want them to also be involved and not just say that I'm doing this for my own benefits and all that, or discredit me as a younger sibling. And spiritually and all these things, I pray to God, and I'm like, and the reason I also came here is like, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I looking at this differently? And I talked to my wife, and she's like, no, she's gonna agree with me, and she's kind of gave me different perspectives. However, from an outside perspective, from pastoral counseling, I'm able to see it not only as a human being, but also in a spiritual sense. What can I do?
I feel your frustration. You're really, frustrated by this situation. I can feel it from the way you are addressing it. And when was the last time that you had a meeting with your other three brothers?
Like a month ago.
How did the meeting end?
Well, it ended with everybody kind of blowing up, and we just decided that we needed some time to kind of settle on some things and just to see the progress of his health. And then we were supposed to get back together, but since then we have not been able to come together. All four of us in agreement. There's always an excuse like work, children, wife, events, things like that. So now I feel like since that last meeting, they don't want to come together. I don't know if they have something going on. I don't want to do speculations, but I feel that I'm still going to continue to take care of them. I'm still going to continue to take care of my father, and I'm going to continue to do what I need to do as the son, with their approval or their consensus or not. But it just hurts as a human being to see that something so delicate as the state of the health of my father could affect our brotherhood.
Absolutely. I've seen that in the past with some parishioners. I've seen that it can. Sometimes people, siblings just wait for what happens to the parents, and then you see it can divide families, it can also unite families. But I have just two questions that has been coming in my mind to ask you. And those two questions are, the first one is, um, before your meetings, do you normally give your sibling the agenda of the meeting? Do you normally let them know, I mean, this is what we want, what we are
Yes.
discussing, this is how far we can stretch it, or how far we can...
Yeah, I usually have a structure as to what needs to be done. Yeah, like billing and just kind of like the general idea as to what all is involved with the situation and what can occur.
So the second one is, do you think that they have the resources, or they don't want to contribute, or do you think that the resources are not available, and that could be the reason?
You know, we all work. One of the siblings, I know that financially he's not as capable as the rest of us, just given some life situations. He just recently went through a divorce, which I know that that's affecting him. However, he's the one who's made it a point to at least be physically present and provide. It's not all have to be materialistic and monetary. And out of all of them, I feel like he's the one that's more inclined to assist me. But I understand that he's also one of the ones that has one of the busiest schedules, just trying to, with his children and the recent divorce and all that, just trying to make his ends meet and things like that. However, I feel like he's now being influenced by my other two siblings, who I know that they're fully financially capable. And more than just financially capable, is just physically being there and being a support and coming over. And I mean, we sing, so why can't we just come together and sing to my dad or come to the hospital? Do things, just be present and enjoy the final moments, if these are going to be the final moments. But they're just being very selfish in their thought process, and I think that's more than just the financial situation. It's more of their heart and where they're at. And like I said, not speculation, but it's dividing us, and that's where it's starting to tear me apart personally.
Okay. I want to ask another question too. What is their relationship with your father? How is their relationship?
We all grew up in the same household. Mother, father. Like I said, the age difference is pretty fair amongst us. However, I think out of all of them, they just feel like my parents are just closest with me, being the youngest. But they all have their own personal relationships with their parents. My mom plays the piano. One of the siblings is a pianist, so they have that close relationship. My other brother, he's a sports kid, and so is my dad. So we each have something to be tied on with our parents.
So do you think, regardless of what the situation, what the relationship is, do you think they have enough closeness in their relationship that probably could be affecting the reason why they are not either contributing or coming to see? Because for some people, there is no amount of distance or reason that could make you stay away from your parents, even at the point of death. So sometimes people try to wonder what could be the level of relationship, the level of closeness that should make you miss that person. It should make you feel, oh, I miss my dad, I just want to see him, if not for any other thing. That's why I'm asking.
I would love to sit down and talk about it, but...
So have you tried to, find out, did daddy do anything to you that you feel bad? Is it something we can address so that,
that'd be great.
Like a reconciliation point? Because they may not find it very well to say it to you because you are part of that, but they can find another member of the family to say, why don't you talk to dad? Let's reconcile first, and then we can move forward.
That'll be fair.
Because forgiveness holds someone back, puts you in a cage. They may probably be having something that is restraining them from taking that action. Because all of us are attracted to our parents. Right now I'm here, but I know that I have a connection with my parents. You have a connection with your parents. So what could be that firewall? That's something to look at. Have you ever thought of that?
I think that they just don't want to express themselves. Maybe given the situation, I would, like I said, I would love to all sit down on the table and lay it all on the table and just express ourselves accordingly. But if they don't give themselves the opportunity to do so, I feel like I may be hitting a wall, and and I think another party coming in.
Exactly. So another party. So how do you think you can go about that? Because reconciliation, freedom, then every other thing might be able to be addressed. Because the reconciliation point is not there. Integration point cannot come. You understand what I'm saying? So they probably, because you are part of this, part of the family, that's why they don't want to discuss that with you. Because they need a neutral force. Have you, you know?
Well, we try to keep it. I mean, we're a very close family. Like I said before, whenever there's a situation, and obviously, every family has situations. Every family has struggles and things like that. But like when my brother was going through his divorce, we were all there for one another to support him, to love on him, and also his now ex-wife, and the kids, make sure that the repercussions of their divorce wouldn't affect them negatively. I think whether they have a personal vendetta or just a personal hurt or something that has occurred with my father, they need to understand that that's still our father, and then we need to honor him and despite all that he's going through a situation that we should be there for them. I can't speak for them. The only thing is I'm doing it for myself, but then, being called selfish and things like that, I wanted to take a step back and say, do an auto-evaluation, say, hey, am I doing something wrong? And I think because I've hit that wall, because I don't feel like we're able to have a productive conversations amongst the four of us, we may need outside help. So this is why I'm here today, to kind of get a pastoral perspective on this and see if there's something that can be done. I know that there's something that can be done. We can't just leave this here and have this time.
Okay. Yeah. So one thing I want to look at is the way forward.
Yes.
And that way forward is, do you think there's anyone in the family, a neutral person, that can come in outside you, because you're part of the family, and as you said, you are mommy's favorite, like Joseph.
Oh, yeah.
So they feel, oh, this Joseph, if we telling you will not make any change. So do you think there's a member of the family, a neutral person who can intervene to at least to read their minds?
Well, maybe my aunt. I've reached out to her, and she's, obviously being out of state, and I don't mind her coming. She says if she's going to come, it will be for whatever result.
Do you think they will listen to her?
She can. If not, then maybe a pastoral or yourself.
Don't give up yet on that. You haven't tried it, so don't count that hope out. What else do I want to say? So, like I said, I try to put myself in that situation. What could restrain me from attending to my parents when they are in need, even at the point of there's nothing physically, and there's nothing that I'm seeing. So there could be something hidden in their hearts that they may be given an opportunity in a neutral environment to act. And from that, from moment of forgiveness, integration, and then conversation. Yes. So three things: moment of forgiveness, moment of integration, and then conversation. So you can use the moment of forgiveness as a reconciliation point. So do you think this is helpful? Do you think?
Yeah, I'm willing to
Is
try.
what's trying?
Yeah, we'll try.
You sure?
Yes.
So that seems like a relief, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna continue trying. Like I said, move forward. At the end of the day, you pray and you hope for the best outcome, and God has the final say. However, the self can sometimes get in the way of that, and I wanted to make sure that at least from my end, myself is not getting in the way of something that could be. I love my brothers, and this is not something that I see them any differently. I know that everybody deals with grief, and I mean, saying grief is kind of funny, ironic, because he's not even dead, my father's not even dead yet, and he's already jumping the hoop, if you will. And I know people deal with it differently. Some people just submerge themselves in work to kind of distract themselves. Some people need to be heavily involved. I need to be heavily involved simply because if not me, who is going to do it? And I see that nobody else wants to get involved, and I don't want to involve my mother because she's also not doing well with her health. But having my brothers there would be great. Not from a selfish standpoint, but just as a general standpoint, saying, I need you guys. And I'm the baby, I'm like, I need you guys. You guys are my older siblings. So.
That's everybody's desire. So how do you feel with this encounter right now, with this session, with coming to the parish to discuss this with me? How do you feel at the end of this session?
Well, I like the fact that you're bringing my perspective of the situation and being open to maybe their perspective of, maybe having something in their heart that's preventing them from being more involved, not just putting up an excuse, but something that can be deep rooted in their hearts. That's a perspective that I would like to explore to see. I'm not a counselor, so I can't just sit there and pretend to be a counselor to my siblings. However, I can be a support system to them, and I want them to understand that I can do that for them. And look past just me being the baby brother, and that my voice and my opinion doesn't matter.
And then giving them a neutral environment, don't forget that.
Yes.
A neutral environment to explore whatever it is.
Yes.
Right now, you don't know, I don't know. The only way to find out is giving them a neutral environment. Because you are involved, you may not get the result you want.
Right.
So they need something neutral, a neutral person. So I'm glad you're able to figure that. You see, you did it. I didn't do it.
Your guidance.
You figured that out. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate your comment, and I wish that as you try this, whatever we were able to share in this discussion, that it will be fruitful to helping you resolve this tension.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for seeing me.
Thank you for coming. Wow. You are one